When I instruct, it's the same thing as public speaking. I do a lot of walking, so pardon me if you have to follow me around. I feel like I'm kind of at home because I know almost everyone in this room. So I feel like I'm privileged in that aspect. But for those of you that do not know me and those of you that do, I want to give you a little background about who I am and what experience I have in law enforcement in your community. I started my law enforcement career in 1992 with the Youngsville Police Department, which at that time, Youngsville jurisdiction was about 1 square mile. It was, the population was under 600, but I was tickled to death to get that job. I actually started at Campbell University when I graduated high school, studying to be a pharmacist, of all things. I realized quickly that was quite expensive, and it really wasn't what I wanted, it's kind of what my mother wanted. So long story short, I changed my career path. I went to Wake Tech Community College for 2 years, studying criminal justice, and as it turns out, I was a pharmacist to some degree, being that I worked in the drug unit for over 12 years. Either way, that worked out. I stayed with the Youngsville Police Department for 2.5 years, and was hired on the Sheriff's Department in '94 by Robert Redmond. I worked with Redmond for 10 years, I guess is what it was. Have been there ever since, up until December the 31st, as most of you are aware. In my career at the Sheriff's Department, I started out in the Uniform Patrol Division from '94 until '97. While I was on patrol, I showed a knack or an aptitude for drug investigations, criminal investigations. Instead of just going to a break-in call, taking a report, turning it into an investigator, I did a little bit of investigating on my own. Cleared a bunch of breaking and enterings prior to my shift change. So in '97, I was promoted to criminal investigator, and I stayed there until '99, when I was promoted to the drug unit. I stayed in the drug unit until October the 7th, 2011. That's when the current administration came in. You may not know it, but it is all but unheard of anywhere in the state or the nation for someone to be left in a drug unit capacity for that length of time. Because I was constantly around in the millions, large amounts of currency, large amounts of drugs, and generally the people I come in contact with are drug dealers. But I stayed there for over 11 years. During that time, I was promoted to sergeant, then to lieutenant. You folks remember the MANU program, Multi-Agency Narcotics Unit? That was started when Sheriff Green came in, but because the need existed for cooperation. We work better as a team, and I want you folks to remember that. We work better as a team. Okay? Your local chiefs of police, Youngsville, Franklin, Lewisburg, Bond, and Lake Royale, we're all a party to this group. Your chiefs of police and your sitting sheriff at the time, Pat Green, decided as a group to make me the supervisor in charge of that multi-agency organization. So I was your lieutenant, and I was the supervisor in charge of MANU. When the situation came out in 2011, I promised all the candidates that had applied for the position of sheriff that basically I was tired. I was wore out from working the drug work. It's just been too long. I want to start dealing with some good folks for a change. And in essence, that's what it was. When Sheriff Jones came in, he did that. He called me in. He said, "What do you want?" I said, "I'm not asking for anything. I'm just asking to be taken out of the drug unit." He offered me the captain over his patrol division. And I asked Sheriff Jones, I said, "If you think that I'm the best qualified for that position, I'm your guy. If you feel as though you owe me something, that's not me." He said, "You're the one. You're qualified." I said, "Okay." I accepted that position. I stayed there probably over 12 months and was just overwhelmed with managing the patrol division and the administrative end of the Sheriff's Department. So I went to Sheriff Jones, we talked about it, and I did not feel as though it was fair to the Uniform Patrol that I could not give them the attention that they needed. So we moved me over to administrative captain. And that's actually where I was when I resigned in December. But through my time at the Sheriff's Department, I have had extensive training. And I appreciate the comment that you made. I do hold an advanced law enforcement certification in North Carolina, which is the highest certification that you can get. I'm a certified grant writer. How many of you are familiar with the SCOPE team? Sheriff's Community Oriented Policing Effort? Okay. I wrote a grant for the federal government, or to the federal government, I believe that was in 2006 or 7, under the stimulus package, and basically awarded the county of Franklin just over $300,000 to hire 3 deputies, all included. I've written several grants since then. Perhaps what I'm most proud of, or what I gained the most insight from, was preparing annual budgets for your sheriff's department. I am a conservative, always have been. I've been told that I probably look at things wrong. When I look at tax dollars, it's my money. That's the way I see it. We have presented some awesome budgets over the last 5 or 6 years. I did them for Sheriff Green. I did them for Sheriff Jones. We can do better. I promise you, we can do better. The plan that my team and I have come up with basically focuses on just that, a team approach to managing your sheriff's office. I acknowledge my limitations. Okay? Very few people will ever tell you that. I acknowledge mine. When I was promoted to captain over the patrol division, I've been a supervisor. I supervised 4 guys in the drug unit and maybe half a dozen other men from other agencies. Big difference between doing that and supervising 70. You remember when you and I met?
A while ago, I'm trying to flip